everybody. Welcome to Roll the Dice with Dave. So glad you could join us tonight. Before we get going, if you are watching, if you can go ahead and just hit that like button at the bottom of your screen. Also, go ahead and share this broadcast. Let everybody know we have a great guest on tonight. I'm really excited to hear his viewpoints. The entrepreneurial spirit is definitely going to be flowing tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Before we get into tonight's show, I want to wish everybody a happy Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday. Today is Fat Tuesday, the day before Ash Wednesday. So today is the day you can actually get your eat on. I actually was lucky enough to grub tonight on some filet mignon and a baked potato. So I definitely jumped into my Fat Tuesday. As we move forward, again, if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. You can go to Roll the Dice with Dave. Also, if you're interested in being on the show or have any topics you want us to talk about, you can email me at rollthedicewithdave@gmail.com. So without any further hesitation, I want to go ahead and bring on my guest. DINK, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm really excited to have you on this evening. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. I'm just glad to be here.
Hey, I tell you what, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while since you graduated. But before we get, I know, right? It seems crazy to say that, with you graduating, because it seems like just yesterday. But then at the same time, it seems so long. But it's only been a few months since you graduated from Flagler, because you just graduated this past May. What's it been like for you since graduation?
Man, I mean, it's been kind of longer because the second semester we weren't in school. So after spring break, I wasn't in school anymore, so it's kind of been long for me. But I just started the business probably about 5-6 months ago, so that's pretty much how I spend most of my time, just pretty much doing everything from the marketing standpoint, from the booking, from doing the estimates, and actually being the mover. So it's been a lot. I've just been focusing on that every day.
A little bit of everything. So before we get even deeper into talking about your business, do you mind just letting everybody know, how did we meet? And you and I were talking about this, but how did you and I end up meeting? It seems like such a chance encounter.
Yeah, so I usually meet with a couple of the female staff at Flagler, and they was telling me that maybe I might need to talk to someone like a male of color. So Dr. Miles reached out to you, and we met at St. Augie's, and pretty much I kind of came to you from just wanting what to do, what's next after sports, because I think at that point, I think that was like the first time I was like, okay, maybe I want to do something other than trying to go pro. And with your background, you kind of helped me, gave me a little pointers, by maximizing your day and stuff. So came like a brother.
I completely forgot that we did meet at St. Augie's to get some pizza and just kick it. Because I remember us meeting in my office, but I forgot we went across the street. And then after that, I mean, we just stayed in contact, texting back and forth. You're definitely one of the best people I have met in general in my life. Definitely one of the best people I've ever met at Flagler College. So I'm glad Dr. Miles hooked us up with each other. Because I have a feeling we're going to be lifelong friends. Man. I have a feeling we're going to be lifelong friends.
Exactly.
All right, so I want to jump into the next little piece that I call the review. And by the looks of you, I'm sure everybody can see it. You look like you're in amazing shape. So I'm going to ask you, do you eat ice cream at all? I've eaten more ice cream than I've ever eaten in my life these last probably 8-9 months. Do you get down on ice cream?
Man, I eat ice cream all the time. I used to say McDonald's milkshakes is by far the best to me.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, that surprises me. I would have thought you would have gone a different way from McDonald's, because you're in Jax, right? Yeah.
I'm still here in St. Augustine.
Still in St. Augustine. All right. But are you originally from Jax, or is it Orlando?
I'm from Orlando.
Orlando. Okay. They actually got some pretty good food places there that we don't have in St. Augustine. So
many.
So to say that McDonald's is your number one, that surprised me a little bit.
Well, because Steak and Shake, I feel like a lot of people say Steak and Shake the best because they have so many flavors. But in reality, the only milkshake that you can drink that's smooth is a McDonald's milkshake.
McDonald's milkshake. All right.
That's it.
So, all right, man. Hey, I'll give you that. I haven't had a McDonald's milkshake in probably since last St. Patty's, when they do their Shamrock shakes. That's probably the only time I get shakes from from McDonald's. I don't do their regular shakes anymore. But I do want to talk to you about ice cream. So I want to talk to you about Ben and Jerry's. Do you eat Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
I used to go a lot when I was at Flagler. I used to walk downtown and go.
What time? Say, George. So Ben and Jerry's just came out with a new flavor called "Change the World" by Colin Kaepernick. They sent me all kinds of stuff. This is actually one of their new T-shirts that they put out. So, what is your favorite Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavor?
I don't have a flavor that I like, but I like their brownie sundae.
Okay, the brownie sundae.
Yeah, I need something that's like hot and cold at the same time. So if you get that, you'll be pretty good.
Actually, that's the way some people describe your basketball game. They were like, "Man, dude is just hot and so cold on that court, just leaving him." I said, "No, man, I used to hear about you playing ball all the time, man, at Flagler, man, and how good you were." So that pretty much sums up your game. That's what I heard. That when you were hot, that was it, and you were just ice cold out there, just snatching souls, man, out in that basketball court.
It's crazy, man. I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even thought about Flagler basketball. Like I just haven't. Like once I left, I thought I was gonna have this period of just like really feeling sad or just wanting to miss it or something. But it's like surprisingly, I feel like, especially through all the conditioning and practice that we went through, I think after my senior year, I think I gave it so much. It was like I was pretty cool with letting it go. I don't think I really regretted it too much.
Hey, that's a good way to look at it. Plus, you got the business going, so a lot of stuff going on there. Which I want to move to this next little piece that I call the HTM highlights. So, running your own business, doesn't probably leave you a lot of time to just be chilling at the house and maybe cooking meals. So, what are your spots right now that are your favorite spots to eat out?
Well, because I be on the go so much, I probably just get something Wendy's. But if I'm really feeling good or I had a really good day, my favorite spot is probably Carmelo's. Believe it or not.
Word. Carmelo's like just right downtown or just out right there by FEC, right across from the FEC. All right. So what is the go-to meal at Carmelo's, man? I may actually have to clip this little piece and post it on Carmelo's page. They're gonna love that, man. So what's the go-to meal at Carmelo's, bro?
They'll give you 10 wings for $12.
So that's your go-to meal, the wings.
That's the go-to. The wings, that's it. The fries a little bit of pricey. I think it's like $2. So honestly, you can get the wings and go to McDonald's and get you a large fry, and you'll have a great meal.
So you're hitting that. So not only do you get the fries, but you're also getting the shake at McDonald's, right? So that's what you're. But that's what's up. Have you done any traveling? And I know probably I don't want to assume no, but with the business, there's no traveling. Have you done any traveling with everything going on lately?
So we went to New York, we went to Brooklyn, and we went to Indiana. Those are the places that we pretty much went multiple times. Because the high demand, so many people was moving from New York. And so we did a couple moves up there, and then we did a couple to Indiana. But honestly, there's no state like Florida. Florida, it seems as if nothing's happened. Everybody's out. It's the same exact to me. Everybody just wearing a mask. But when you go up north to different states, you don't really see too many people on the street. I think that's why so many people is moving a day. Actually, 950 a day is moving to Florida.
Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. And actually, you hit on something. So, and we'll talk a little about it a little bit more, but it's true. Your name is true nationwide, right? You have been all over. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, here's the logo right here.
So
nationwide. Awesome. These are our uniforms. So
that's what's up, man. And we got to make sure that we are you I got to ask you this. Are you a vendor with Flagler College to be able to come in and move their stuff?
I tried to talk to a couple people about it, but that was something that I wanted to get into talking to because I feel like our prices are affordable with the best kind of guys, clean cut guys, young guys, US vets, college basketball players, ex-college basketball players at an affordable price. So I kind of felt like I wanted to kind of go in there because I know other companies in St. Augustine is pretty much big name. So I kind of tried to want to come in from workplaces I had relationships at, so they can really see the beauty of how different our company actually is.
I'll tell you what, we got to see what we can do to make that happen, man. That would be
Uh,
a great story to have you there. So we'll talk some more once this little podcast is done, see what we can get some nationwide in there. So I want to move to this next little piece. It's called In Your Opinion. So I asked, are you doing what you love? And 63% of the respondents said yes, but 37% of the people that responded to the survey actually said no, that they are not doing what they love. So, question to you: are you doing what you love right now?
yes.
So, what do you? What do you? I tell you what, I love that smile. What is it about what you're doing that you love so much?
I love marketing. Um, Marketing is everything, you know. I was reading a book and it was saying uh, if Nike made a hotel and Hyatt made a shoe, you would know what Nike hotel would look like versus Hyatt wearing a shoe because Nike brand is so strong. You know, trying to put an identity behind something or being able to storytell. Um, the fact that if I really wanted to, I can do that all day, every day. But I have to do so much more into the company to where I can only spend so much time with the marketing. But it's everything. It's kind of like basketball. Like marketing is the working part. Marketing is the training. You trying to get the customer to come to you, trying to basically you're just trying to convince that your brand is better than somebody else's brand. And by either competing with price, competing with quality, or competing with what we don't really try to compete with price. We kind of try to put our price in the middle. We really compete with the quality at an affordable price. Um, and the fact that you can create like an image, you can create something uh, graphically that tells so many stories. I kind of love that more than anything because that was the reason why I actually started the brand. Um, Luckily, I didn't know what I wanted to major in college. I just chose communications, so I learned the actual blueprint and basics of marketing. Um, when I was working for a different company, uh, I had kind of tried to tell one of the dudes I was working for, okay, if we go at about it from this situation, if we do this type of marketing, figure out your target audience, try to generate more leads, then okay, we can get more moves. In reality, I was just trying to get enough money to pay my rent. Um,
Okay.
but he didn't. I ain't say that he didn't listen because once I became my own boss, I started to understand the obsessed with control, not wanting to give nobody else part of it. So I did understand where he was coming from. But then I started my own company, and the everything is marketing. It's really just marketing. I feel like that's the biggest difference between the big companies and the small companies. You just see them more. You see them in a creative way. You see them in a unique way, and just like Ben and Jerry's, with uh with a campaign based on the politics. This is the perfect time to do it. Actually, I want to kind of do study to see um, what race buys their ice cream the most to see if that was a marketing strategy towards okay, this is the amount of people that buys our stuff. Because even with Nike, when they use the Colin Kaepernick, more than half is minorities who buys the gear. So yes, it was a risk to choose Colin Kaepernick as the face and all the controversy, but in reality, it was smart and calculated the whole entire time. And that's 100% marketing. Their sales went up, double, triple. The stock went up. It was brilliant. So I like marketing more. I can go. I told you I can
I was about
go
to
on
say,
and on about it.
well, you and I have had long conversations in my office, and before we dig a little deeper, you see, there's something. Your smile, man, it's infectious. It lights up the room when
Yeah.
people see it, and that's actually your brand. You know, so you talk about
Um,
marketing. I think everybody I ever talked to about you talks about, oh
yeah.
man, he's just so personable. His smile. So my mom
Yeah.
wanted to know, did you have that smile when you were moving people in the cold in New York? Did you still bring that same energy and same smile, uh, and kind of give people that feeling when you were moving them, even though it was so cold in New York?
Yeah. So actually, I felt like that was one of my advantages, being able to understand um, Because when moving, the customers you deal with so many different customers, from snapping to not even thinking that you can even do the job, because the moving industry as a whole just sucks. That's why there's no one company above other. That's why it's such a room for growth. And I came in as, okay, I've been working for a company for about 3 years. Now I see that 9 times out of 10, a lot of people not dressed well and the clients aren't happy. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna be like Publix. Like, I was thinking, okay, what if Publix had a moving company? That's what I want to model my company, because I work for Publix. So I was like, okay, I want to be able to model that. And then, you started to think even bigger. You like, okay, what if Amazon had a company? We all would be out of business, because you would just go to Amazon because you know what to get. So as soon as I started, okay, I was like, okay, customer service is going to be the best. And actually, the New York move was one of the first ones. And when I went up there, the customer service part was the easiest. Actually, I kind of enjoyed it, because I knew for a fact all the other moves that they did, they weren't better than us. Because every time we did something nice, they were like surprised. Like, that's how horrible, and as a whole, the moving industry is that when someone does a good job, you like extremely thank them, but in reality, you're paying for the service. It's something that is just expected to do. So when I did that, it was pretty easy. I brought my brother on the first flight, and I brought a close friend. So I told them kind of what I wanted to do, and they bought into what I wanted to believe in. And every time we did a move, it was pretty much just smiling. And of course, some things don't go your way, but that's your job as a professional mover. Like, it doesn't matter. Just like with being in the NBA, you got to play every day. Just like with the moving, you got to perform every day. Like, it can't be a mess up. Of course, it's going to be a little bumps and bruises, but you got to be able to move through that. So
you do. And I'm sure you know this name, Tara Stevenson. She says she remembers chatting with you regularly on your love and vision for marketing. It's wonderful to see you making this happen now. And I could agree with her. I've seen your pages, and I will say this, always look, and when I say clean, you know what I'm talking about, right? That clean, crisp look. You guys look great. And my mom threw this out here too, very charismatic. And if you're creating that vision and everybody's buying into it, I'm actually looking forward to when I see the commercials or hear it on TV and it's you, and it's like, hey, here we are, Nationwide Elite, right? And everybody's like, oh yeah, Nationwide did my move. It's the best moving company. I can see it because you said it.
yeah.
So I'm really excited about your future, Dink. I'm telling you, and just to let everybody know, Damerit's nickname is Dink. That's what I call him. So I don't want everybody sitting there going like, what's this Dink he's talking about? You and I are on a different level, and I've said it, it's more of a friendship than anything else here. I'm just glad you're giving me a chance to get the front row VIP seat to this success, because I think it's going to be a great thing. I want to jump back to a little bit of the beginning. So, I know you played basketball at Flagler, and now the audience knows that you played basketball at Flagler. What are some of the things that you got from being a college athlete that you're able to use in your entrepreneurial adventure or your entrepreneurial spirit to move your business forward?
It's crazy because I didn't understand what people was talking about. I think going to my junior year in college, I think that's when I decided, okay, maybe I want to do something different in life. So I just used everybody as an opportunity to, try to be able to get ahead, help them help me get ahead. And every single person always said that they said, you're an athlete, so you're going to be fine. And I didn't understand it. Fast forward, when I was an entrepreneur's mindset, I feel like the biggest thing is that you're used to things not going your way. Or not only that, I feel like you're used to doing things that your body don't want to do. Like, I feel like that's the biggest difference between someone who actually does something that they say they're going to do and someone who just doesn't. And I feel like is really just a battle from the mind, like being able to make that switch, like, okay, I'm gonna get up. That's the hardest thing. So many times I hit snooze because I set my alarm clock. I watch some Elon Musk the night before, wake up 5:30 in the morning, and I just hit snooze. And really, in reality, you starting your day on a loss. But to tie that back into the college, we had 6:30 practice. We have classes. We have you're forced. You're forced. You're literally being forced and trained to be an entrepreneur at heart, to be honest. I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. I never wanted to lift weights. It just made me stiff, but it was something I had to do. I hated running, but I had to do it. You feel good after. So you get used to being able to make that switch. So you turn in the switch. Granted, somebody else is helping you, but I feel like just like back with my pastor used to say back in the day, if 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 you bring a kid and bring him to church when he gets older, he won't stray away from his beginnings. I feel like it's the same exact thing with basketball and with the college. You know, if you're being trained to do this and do that, after that, I feel like we have so much of a higher chance to continue to flip that switch. And that's been the hardest thing that I had to do with being a business owner is flipping that switch every day. Like I was on my phone. I probably spent 15 hours today booking everything for the next couple of weeks, the moves we have to do nonstop. But I'm so used to doing stuff that I have to do. I'm so used to really flipping that switch. And I feel like that's pretty much the biggest difference, just doing the things that you don't want to do. And if you do that enough times, I feel like you'll put yourself in a good position. I was actually listening to Kobe like just like a week ago, and he was talking about that. He was saying that the biggest difference between someone who's successful and who's not is someone who does something consistently. And some people they they do great things, but they do it at an inconsistent pace. And that was me because I used to do stuff, then I get all happy, content, then I won't do it. Because say you don't have that much money, right? And but your bills do, then it's gonna be easy to flip that switch. Okay, I'm gonna do what I have to do because you're at the edge. But but if you have a lot of money, then you're not gonna want to flip that switch. And that's all being a business owner is. You're gonna have those ups and downs, but the biggest difference that I learned from basketball is being able to keep flipping that switch, keep doing stuff that you're not supposed to do, and make it count and make it compound. So
And actually, you hit two big names. So you mentioned you check out Elon Musk,
yeah,
right? I mean, um, Tesla. I mean, you just can't, right? So, yeah, I remember the first time I saw a Tesla and everybody was talking about it, and I'll be honest, I was like, man, I just don't know who all is going to jump on this electric car thing, right? We got so used to it. Now, if you're not looking at getting a Tesla, everybody's looking at you going, "What's wrong with you?" And now, dudes jumping into all kinds of stuff. Um, it's crazy what he's doing. And then you mentioned the other one, Kobe Bryant, right? And
yeah,
everybody quotes Mamba mentality. My boys do it. I do it. I don't think anybody, even if they don't pay attention or care about basketball, knows Mamba mentality. They know what's up with the Mamba mentality. And I like the way you tied how all the things you did as an athlete, you were able to transfer those skills
yeah.
into your entrepreneurial mindset. So I want to jump into this next piece because there's a lot that happened as you were transitioning out. We had this little thing called COVID-19 that's still going on, a pandemic. So as you were transitioning out of school and all this was going on, what were some of the things that you faced that I don't want to say were insurmountable, but that you just felt were so overwhelming that you had to kind of flip that switch a little bit more? Was there anything that can come to mind that, oh man, I'm graduating school, which is tough enough. Now I want to do all these things and this pandemic's getting in the way. What were some of those things that you were dealing with?
Yeah, well, you can kind of transfer that flip the switch because once Corona happened, I was in my room all day and I wasn't doing nothing. And I think that was in the beginning of me realizing, okay, let me start working out, But the biggest switch, uh after COVID hit, I was on my beanbag every day playing 2K. And because 2K got they have this little mode, whatever, that you can create your own team. I got obsessed with it.
Oh no, I
Spending like,
know. I have two sons, bro. Two sons that play all the
yeah,
time.
I was spending hours. I know I was running up the electricity bill too. And I didn't really have a job. I was kind of just, that's when I was doing stocks a little bit. I think, honestly, if we probably go back, I think the peak of coronavirus, I think a lot of people panicked and started doing stocks without the knowledge. Um, but I was applying for jobs, and I probably applied to like 100, and I didn't get one job. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, who wouldn't want to have? I'm like, just give me a chance, like just give me the opportunity. But nothing came back. The only people that was hiring was insurance broker jobs, and at the time, nobody was hiring, and a lot of people was applying. So that opened up a lot of opportunity for startup companies to get recent college grads, because I ended up going to one in Winter Park, and basically we was doing door. It said marketing intern. I'm thinking it's amazing, but in reality, it was just door to door trying to get people to upgrade their Sprint cell phones.
Oh
And
wow, okay.
yeah, so and then once I came back, uh, I I think that was probably the first time I really felt like helpless in a weird way. That was a weird period, but I feel like in a way, either coronavirus brought like the hustle out of you, or you just kind of cave in more into it, because there's an increased rate of pregnancy, drugs. It's a lot. It's a lot that plays a part in not being able to do stuff. Living different lifestyles, you create more bad habits. So all the bad stuff it was going up, and I I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like it was, I'm calling my mom, like mom,
Oh,
like my lease was ending. It was just not. I haven't even thought about it ever since then. But now I'm thinking about it. It was all like a perfect piece in a weird way, because it forced me to flip that switch. It forced me to get my responsibilities in order, because it was like, okay, your your rent is coming up, and you're not gonna have enough to start getting another apartment. And my mom, she was like, she didn't want me to come home because she wanted me to stay in that mindset, of being able to survive and being able, which that was probably the best thing that ever even happened to me at the time. So I think it was probably one day, and I was just like, man, I'm just tired. I'm just tired of just coasting. I'm tired of like talking a good game, but not really doing it.
mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm just gonna try to maximize every day, and whatever happens, happens. So I started running, just started going on runs every day, just started going on runs. Then I started meditating, started doing yoga. Once I did all that, I met a dude named Don who owned multiple businesses. And that's when I started working for the moving company again. That was around April, January, March, April. So May, June, I started working for him again, working for a moving company. And then I met a dude named Don. The same way I met Dr. Miles, same way I kind of met you, just going up to somebody. If you feel a good vibe from them, just from afar, just kind of go up to them. And I realized that if every time I asked for help, people wanted to help me as if like they've been waiting for me. It was so weird. It was as if like a lot of people was like, even with Tara Stevens, like I was in her office like all the time, and she would help me as if like it was her calling to help me. Like everybody helped me so much, and he did the same exact thing. That was the first time I ever met him, and he said, if you know a business and you think you can do it well, then do it yourself. And the way he made it seem so simple, the way that I took it, it was just at the perfect timing. I was ready to take it. If I wasn't running or doing meditation or whatever, I would have probably just went back home and played 2K. But I was ready for that information, which is gonna play a part later on in the story. But I went to him, and that's when I was like, okay, my degree is communication. So I started going back reading the books that I was supposed to read in school. but I wasn't reading. I'm like, okay, let me read the books. And then I started, and then after that, that's when I started the business. That was probably when I actually put my foot on the gas and was like, all right, this is do or die. And it was a lot that happened throughout those times. So
Man, I tell you what, I could sit and listen to you tell this story. I mean, just for hours, because this is exciting to see, because I remember you coming into my office and us just chatting. Then we may go for a couple of weeks, and then you would come back in my office and we chat some more. Sometimes we'd shoot texts back and forth. But I never doubted that you were going to be successful, right? There was just this reminds me of that it factor, that you can't always figure out exactly what it is. You can't put your finger on it. You can't exactly grab it, but you know somebody has it when you see it, right? And it's kind of like for students when they see a teacher that they think is a good teacher, and you ask them what makes them good, and they're like, I don't know, they're just a good teacher. It's that it factor. You had that it factor. So I want to kind of stick on that it factor for just a little bit. And the name of your company, what drove you to come up with the name for your company? Which I also want to give you another chance. Please make sure you say the name of your company again. And then what drove you to go, yeah, this is what I'm going to name my company. And also add into that the logo creation, because I think it's pretty cool, the dudes on the logo and all that. So I know that's a lot of stuff, but I want to give you the opportunity that it all kind of ties together.
Yeah. So actually, I've been trying to think about changing it, but I haven't been in the business. Trust me, I haven't been in the business that long to even have a reason. People don't even know the name when they have to write the check after we did the whole entire move. So I realized the name doesn't matter. But when I first started, I was thinking about how can I appear as a big company? That was my main goal. I was like, I want to appear as a big company because I know coronavirus happening. So I was like, okay, who is my target audience? Real estate agents, apartment complexes. Number one. Because every mover says that the company is amazing, or every company says that, and the client doesn't care ever. They never care, never care, never care. I have to sell so much. But when I got a referral from a moving company, they was like, okay, when can you come? Like you automatically become trusted. So I wanted to come off as a company that's bigger than what we actually are, which in the downturn, now that everything's going on, that was probably one of the worst decisions to make. I was thinking about different names, but that was the initial thing. I just wanted to get long distance moves, and I wanted people to see the company as this huge company. And I'm sorry, what was the next question?
So the how did you come up with the name?
Yeah.
Then the logo piece, because I see your logo, and when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that's great. And it stuck with my mind. There's like four guys on the logo. They all have slightly different looks to them. And then it's simple and elegant also with the N, right? So how did you come up with all that? And I know you said your marketing and communications, but what was that process coming up with all of that?
Man, so the logos and that with the characters, I think that came after a failure in the company, believe it or not. So when I first started, we were red. Our company slogan was like the show. And I was doing different things. I was being too animated, didn't really have a brand identity. I was just having fun with creativity because I really like Photoshop, graphic design. So I was just throwing anything that looked different from your typical moving company, because I look online and it's just a whole bunch of words with nothing really being said. So I was like, that's not the direction I want to go. And, I was just trying to figure out, how can I put me into the company so when people see the company, they see me? So I went through trial and error, just trying to get stuff out, knowing when to do research on a client or research on your target audience, and knowing when to just stick with your gut. So at first we were red. We had Adidas dry fit uniform, which is probably,
yes,
yeah, they're
I
probably
remember
like,
yeah.
Yeah, they were probably like copyrighted at first, but so we probably used them a couple times, and I was like, okay, if I want to get bigger, I want to use those. So we had Adidas dry fit uniform, and we all had red shoes, and that was just coming from the point where I just wanted people to understand that we're different. Like I was like, I'm tired of saying that we're different. We're just gonna show you, and it worked. When the clients never really said nothing, it was the people around. It was like, wow, you guys look official. Who are y'all? Like we're a moving company. I guess you probably like a basketball team or something. But we was matching from like top to bottom. And then it started to get cold. And then that's when I switched to burgundy because I liked the way that it looked on us. And and at that point, I was really just still shooting, not really understanding. But then I went to 97 Park Real Estate. And when I went to them, I marketed my brand. Stefan, he's amazing. And Karen, she gave me their book, The Marketing 101. That was probably the first book that I ever really read page to page. Like in college, you don't have to read the whole book. You just read different parts of whatever chapter they tell you to read. But the Marketing 101, I read, it was like 200 pages. I read it in one day. That was when I was beginning the brand, and I was really trying to make sure I was going to meet ends meets and really just putting my all out there. At that point, I was obsessed with information, just trying to get information. Once I did that, I redid my whole entire company. Like, besides trying to come as we're this, it's like, how can you help me? Like, why do you want to get why do you deserve my money? And besides trying to come in as a person to receive, I came in as a person to give. So then I started writing blog posts about the yoga studio that I went to in St. Augustine. I just wrote a blog post, did it in a creative way. Then I did the pros and cons of hiring a mover versus renting the truck. Blog posts, getting clicks to my website. And then I started to generate leads. I was like, what's the point of having a website? Do you want to get their email? Do you want them to call? How is your website generated towards that? Now, I'm starting to see that business cards is probably better than anything. They're going to just use the business card just to go to your website, but they're going to use the business card to call you. Like, they don't really care if they have a business card, because if they have my business card, that means that somebody else gave it to them. So that's the referral that you don't even need to do anything. But so once I read that book, that's when I changed the color, because I started off really great. The first month, amazingly great. I was like, the industry is easy. Like, it can't be this easy. Then the second month, something happened, downfall. I learned so many life lessons in that, just from how people act with money, how people respond to money, how just from managing employees and from managing your money, managing so much. And I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this for real, and this is gonna be 100% me. My favorite color is blue, so I said, all right, my company's gonna be blue. I don't know why it's red and black. That's not me. So I was like, my company's gonna be blue, and I feel like I'm a pretty relatable guy, and I like cartoons. So I was like, okay, I'm about to have cartoon people throughout my website, and that was pretty scary for me to even do, because I was like, no other moving company has that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so much. But in reality, everybody likes it. We actually got more clients through there. So
just to make sure I'm getting this right. So you read this book, right? So you read this book. Was it, and then you had your things kind of set up, but you went through really 2 almost color changes as a result of reading this book.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, man. See that you just saying that, my stomach is a little bit in knots, because I teach strategic management, and it always talks about, have the blueprint, know where you're going to go. Have a plan, but once you kind of start going with a plan, you got to go before you want to deviate. So to hear that, that's some true entrepreneurial spirit right there, because you're also going on feel. right? You're going on field, which to then tie back to the basketball piece. I know you draw up plays and all that, but sometimes the game is just feel. You just feel certain ways.
Yeah.
It's crazy to hear you tell this story because as you're telling it, I could feel like my heart beating faster. Like, man, what's going to happen next in the story, right? And you just tell it so calmly. You're just like, yeah, I decided to change the color, decided to go with some cartoon people. You seem so relaxed telling it. So that's actually pretty cool, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. You were going to say something else before I kind of hopped in.
Oh no, that was pretty much it. I think once I did the cartoons, I pretty much because the reason why I decided not to do that was because that's what happened. I tried to appear as this huge company. I appeared at this huge company. I went on Facebook and I said, hey, this is my company. You can go online, you can do a quote, and you can choose text. A dude commented under and said, no, they're a brokerage. They're just going to give you a number and sell and once you fill out the form, they're going to send your number and sell it and have 6 different companies come to you and try to bid on your move. And they're all the same company. And that's when I told myself, okay, never again I'm going to try to appear as a big company because it's not going to work.
Somebody thought you were actually being shady in a way, saying, oh,
yeah,
it's all the same. Okay. And then you took a little bit more ownership there. I tell you, that's great. I want to move to this next little piece because a lot of entrepreneurs probably have this question. How did the funding for your company come about? How did you go about starting this as far as from a capital investment side?
So with the moving company, I'm not gonna give away all my secrets.
Yeah, no, yeah, and you definitely don't want to do that. But how did you go about? What were some of the steps that you took? So if I was, let's say, a new entrepreneur, it's like, hey, man, how could I potentially go about building my brand or maybe getting some funding to start? What were some of the things that you did? And maybe just 1 or 2 little tips.
Yeah. So I think the first thing is kind of know what's your purpose, like know why you're starting your brand. And I feel like that will piggy bank back off of how you decide to do it. Because ours was, we've seen that people who do it not nice, they aren't respectful. So that's how we came. And I was saving money while working for a moving company while buying my uniforms and buying my business cards. And that's how. So I was funding while I was working for a moving company. So any little bit of money I get, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy business cards. But I had to write it down. I went on YouTube. I went to how to start a moving company because I already knew the manual stuff. I just didn't know the business. So I went on the YouTube and I just wrote down, okay, business card, uniforms, LLC, whatever the case it may be that you need to do to start your business. I think if you research how to start it, Google and YouTube is. I learned how to shoot a basketball on YouTube. I learned how to cut my hair on YouTube. It was just, I just went to learn a business on YouTube.
So you cut your own hair?
Yeah.
Look at you, man. I tell you, you got more layers than I realized, man. I may have to call you up next time I need that fade.
I gotta save my money, man. But yeah, so you just write down on YouTube all the stuff you need, research whatever the case may be, and then you write down how much it's gonna cost, tally all that up. That's how much it's gonna cost for you to start your business. Then it's up to you to be able to hold yourself accountable that while you're working for a moving company, don't say I'm gonna push it off. It's like, how fast can I start it? How fast can I fund? How fast can I get everything going? But I think that just comes with you liking it, loving to create something bigger than yourself, like kind of just trying to put a dent in a universe or any situation that you in. If you can kind of try to impact or inspire the person next to you, I think if you look at it from that standpoint, it's going to be days that you want to do it and not want to do it. But I feel like the why will kind of decrease that inconsistency. I feel like people probably inconsistent because they probably just don't know the reason why they want to do it or why they want to do it. But me going to talk to you, like when I was able to talk to y'all, those were my inconsistent days. Because I remember going to you like, man, I just want to make it in life. I don't know where to go. And then you gave me the connection to meet with your friend, got his number, and we're talking. And even though that didn't go through, it just gave me that extra push. So, having people around you that can be able to uplift you and really just be able to have that same vibration. Because every time I meet with Don, I come back to my apartment, I'm like, okay, like I'm I'm about to do something crazy. So just try to surround yourself with the best possible people, and the funding would be easy. Because you won't even ask them for money. You would start to see you doing stuff that they're not doing, and you're gonna feel awkward. You're like, man, I shouldn't be doing this. Because the people you're hanging around with is not doing it. So I knew Don was saving. I knew a lot of people around me was saving. My best friend, one of my closest friends, he's a fashion designer, graduated from Florida State. He was trying to start a business too. So it was kind of like a competition. So it was just perfect timing. It was like a beautiful disaster, from everything going downhill to me being in a situation to save. I had the right people at the right time, to where I was holding myself accountable, and I was on the edge kind of not knowing what's next. So you're forced to do the right things at all times.
Hey, man, get around the right line, pride, iron sharpens iron, bro.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like that. So, this is a little bit more of a personal question. I know
Yeah.
you have a significant other, right? You have a
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
What's it been like as far as on the home life with you hustling on your business the way it is?
Um, I'm not really home that much.
Is that why you're still together? Right? You say, yeah, I'm just messing.
Yeah,
I'm just,
nah. It's like,
I'm
so
just messing, bro.
I feel like even with that part, I feel like the biggest thing is just communication. Just being able to communicate. But at the same time, if you're having proven progress, and your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, they see you really working, putting in those hours, late nights, early mornings, like really doing stuff that they're not seeing other people doing, and they seeing the success, seeing the progress, then I feel like they'll have no choice but to support you. So,
Well, you just hit on something. So you talk about hours. On any given day, how many hours are you working at your business, either trying to move it forward or actually working at moving? How many hours a day do you think you're putting in?
on average, at least 10. On
So that
average.
means some days there's a lot more, and
Oh,
some
yes.
days there may be a little bit less.
Last night, I didn't go to sleep till 2 a.m. because I was booking my moves. I actually scheduled a move at 12:50. Like, people want to move, and you got to be able to be there at all times. But it's not like I go to bed at 2 a.m. all the time. It's just that
Hmm.
different measures. And I wasn't even in the business. I haven't just been 100% full throttle in the business. It was success and failures. When I made a lot, I was kind of relaxing on my marketing. But then I didn't understand December and January's are slow. Nobody moves. So now it's like you learning from it's just like basketball, man. It's really just like that. It's really just like basketball. It's all the same. It's all the same. Like when you shooting thousands of shots a day in the gym, you're more likely gonna have a good streak of games to where you're just hitting shots. And if you're not working, you're not gonna eat. So it's just the same thing with this. I didn't understanding how to grind, because with basketball, it's like you work out, you lift weights, you shoot your basketball, you stretch. That's grinding. I didn't understand grinding in life in terms of writing down goals, manifesting things, eating healthy, waking up. That's grinding. And I wasn't used to that because I'm so much more of a physical grind.
Hmm.
And this one is more of a mental grind. So, but yeah, man.
So do you see this entrepreneurial venture? How big do you see it getting? What is the ultimate vision?
I'm only laughing because I was when I used to talk to people, I was like, this is gonna go crazy. Like this movie company is gonna change the world, which I still do believe that. But now I have like structured goals on, okay, you have to change your community first. And then, like take small steps. Cause I was thinking about Amazon. Cause I was like, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, just like when I was a basketball player, I was trying to go to the NBA, be one of the best. Just like entrepreneur, if I'm gonna be a businessman, why not try to be like one of the best? Why not? But I was looking at Amazon and I was like, dang, they were a bookstore. They weren't even making profit the first couple of years. And I was just looking at other businesses and seeing why they're better than others and taking the notes. I actually read the Steve Jobs book, which I do recommend everybody to read Steve Jobs' book. But I see it, I don't know. And I don't want to think about it right now because I have so much stuff I need to do now until I get there. It was like when I would think about how big I want it to be, I would get overwhelmed, get burnt out, feeling like I'm nowhere near enough. But I actually focused on just setting monthly goals, weekly goals, and checking them off in the book. And I get a lot faster than that. So I'm not sure because even with the entrepreneur mindset, man, you go through so many minds of like, was this the right decision to do? Do you always want this much responsibility on you? Especially when it's good. It's good days and bad days where you
Mhm.
kind of question like, okay, is this what you're gonna do? But then if you keep pushing, you'll be successful or not. But I had so many different ideas to where now my goal my next step is to have the business running without me to where I can focus 100% on marketing.
Cool,
And
man. I tell
at
you,
this, yeah, and at the same time, be able to understand what else in St. Augustine do the customers need so I can try to implement that to my brand so I can actually try to figure out what's something I'm actually passionate about. Because the moving company was just a way to express my love to help other people. But this is not something I want to do for the rest of my life, but I can grow it and kind of help other people that I'm cool with. I feel like they can have a steady job working here. And I feel like they can grow it and we all can grow it. But at the same time, I'm still searching on that journey for something that I can possibly do to change the world.
that's what's up, man. I tell you, I like that. So,
Uh-huh.
what has been your most satisfying moment within the business so far?
Uh,
I know that's a tough question, but I had to ask, right? So I had it down. I was like, I wonder what he's most proud of. Um, I think back on my life, there's a lot of proud moments, and I know you're still young. You're only what, 23.
yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of moments. But do you have a proudest moment right now with regards to your business?
The most proudest moment was, and this is deep too. This is pretty deep. The most proudest moment was when I went to like $0 in my bank account and I came up so fast, so quick as if it's never happened. It was insane. It was like the light switch. It was like perfect. Um, we did a move. Uh, things didn't go the way it was supposed to go from the client, from just different normal things. But I was in a do or die situation. I was probably sad for a day, but I was looking up on YouTube or like Google why small businesses fail. And it's because of lack of cash flow. And they fail because of lack of brains of the entrepreneur, lack of cash flow, lack of brains, and lack of effort. That was those three. And at that moment, those three were tested. Didn't have the cash flow. At that moment, I wasn't that smart enough to put myself out. And then I had to give my effort. And it was, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but the fact that I pulled myself, like me personally, I did that myself. I think that made me understand how strong I really am. and that it doesn't matter too much about what you go through. I honestly do believe that everything that's everything that happens to you, like you can really like it's perfect. Like it's not too much for you or it's not too less. Because I'm religious, so I believe God don't give you too much that you can't handle. So anything that comes to me, I just look at myself and be like, can you get through it? Because it's not the situation. It's like I know what it takes to get through any situation. It's like, are you gonna lock in on a level that you know that you need to lock in on to get through that? And the fact that everything was gone, I was back against the wall, and I came through on top, and I still ran the business, and we still came back, and as if nothing happened. But it was one of the most critical parts in my life, and I'm like, yo, I just really went through that easy. That's when I realized, okay, um, wherever I put my mind to, I'm gonna get it. And after that, I hit a peak, and we just been rolling ever since. And other stuff is gonna happen. Other problems from a truck breaking down, um, things happen. But I feel like the experience of the entrepreneur would be the success or the failure of the company. How
That's
experienced it is. So
That's what's up. And I love this. So, this is my sister, an entrepreneur. I have learned to discipline my overwhelm. The mantra is too much analysis often leads to paralysis. I think we've all had those moments where you
yeah.
wake up in the middle of the night and you feel like you have a weight on your chest because you've just been thinking about everything. Um, she also put, we actually have a comment, wonderful, great story. She puts 2 Corinthians 10:5 helps her get through
Uh-huh.
all of those. I figure you'd appreciate that, right?
Mhm.
And in this last, she's like, "Amen. You can do all things through Christ, who straightens you all things, not just some things." So,
Yeah.
um, you just kind of touched on that. Oh, and this right here, this is, I tell you what, Jennifer Cross is one of the best people I have ever met in my entire life. Resilience is an absolute necessity when you're an entrepreneur. Great story. Thanks for sharing that. Um, so you're already touching people with your motivations and where you're going. One last question I have for you, just as we start getting ready to kind of wrap things up.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for a new college grad who is going, maybe I want to be an entrepreneur?
Come find me.
Oh, that's
Seriously.
what's up. I love it, man. There you go. Yeah.
No, because I don't think everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Like
Mhm.
I think if you have the qualities, it's a big difference between thinking like, dang, maybe, and knowing. Because when I started my business, I had no anxiety. I knew it was gonna work. Like it wasn't like, dang, will it work? Will it? Like I knew. That's why when I was saving my money, I was saving my money for something I was expecting, not saving from my money for something I was hoping was gonna happen. Like I seen it. I read Think and Grow Rich actually, and it was saying how when you tell yourself something a lot and then you think about it, you start to see it with colors. Like your brain will be able to produce. And I seen red, I seen gray, I'm serious. I never seen nothing like it before. I seen real colors because I was thinking about it for so long and I didn't have nothing to lose. So I just started it. But nah, seriously, my advice would be one to figure out a problem in the world that you can solve. Like it's so many, like I feel like once you start your own business and go on that route, you would start to look at a lot of businesses and critique them, which is pretty cool. Like it's pretty cool to be able to critique businesses and kind of understand what they were doing to the point where now I go on TikTok and Instagram and I hope I see an advertisement just so I can see, okay, what was their objective? Did they do that to me? And can I take that and use it as my own? But the advice would be really just to figure out a problem going on in the world and go against everything in that industry supposed to tell you to do. Literally, especially when you find a problem, because when you find a problem, you can base their brand on that problem. Like I think the best companies, Amazon, there were no books sold online. All they did was bring the books online. That was the biggest problem I can't really figure out. That's what I'm trying to do right now. And hopefully over the next few weeks, as I travel to different states, I'm going to be really understanding how people interact with other people. Just so I can just get an insight on something different than being in St. Augustine. Like I want to be able to expand my brain and kind of know more so I can start to, okay, this is a problem in the world and now I can help it. But I'm using the moving company to generate the capital to be able to even branch off to something else if I really wanted to do. But um, just figure out a problem that's going on in the world and then go against the grain, and you'll know when you need to copy a business to a certain extent. Because I copied 2 Men in the Truck with their online thing, but that was horrible because people thought I was a scam. So you will know you'll know when to pick to copy, but you have to know. So you be like, okay, don't copy the fact that they did a quote or they did an online form. Copy how did they get you there? How did they get you to do that online form? Where was that form at on the website? But it's just so much more to learn. I just say do it, but you'll know if it's for you and you know if it's not for you. Because if somebody has to give you some motivation to do it, then chances are you probably just not meant to do it. Because all Don told me is if you if you know a business and you can do it better, than do it. And I started it. Like that's all you needed was a little bit of spark. But if you need constant spark, then maybe you might need to help someone and become in a different part of the entrepreneurship. Like if I was to start a business and I came straight out of college, I would be trying to be in like-minded areas with other people. So where I can focus on the visuals and somebody that's more analytics, but an entrepreneur, you got to help one another. Some people is meant to do it alone for a certain extent. And some people, like, I feel like if a lot of people just get together and buy into something, because I can only go so fast. It doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter how many moves I do. If I'm on this move every single day, I can only make so much. I can only do so much.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, you're going to need other people to branch off and get that vision. That's what you learn in Steve Jobs' book. Steve Jobs wasn't even that great in technology. He was a great marketer. Wozniak, I'm not gonna say his first name, I don't know. But Wozniak, he was the technical guy and they worked together. They were able to work on each other's strengths and weakness to where he was gonna build computers and sell them for free. Steve Jobs told him no. But what if they both was an entrepreneur said and was like, I'm gonna do everything on my own. They would never got together, but they complemented each other so well, they became Apple. Like you
Yeah.
need other people, but you need like-minded people. And it's kind of hard to find that because that's what I struggle with to this point too, being able to find other people who's really into it, not people who just post on social media or post here and there saying, okay, we need to, oh, here's the 5 things to start a business. No, it's so much deeper than that. And it's hard to find people who actually truly want to change, not even the whole world, but just even the community with your work. If you get just like 2 or 3, scientifically, you're going to be even better. So I would say try to find somebody else who's an entrepreneur and make sure y'all in the same room for a couple hours a day so y'all can branch off on each other. That's the best way to go.
I tell you what. So if I run into any soon-to-be Flagler grads that are entrepreneurial, I'm just going to go ahead and send them to you, and then at least you guys could be in the same room together.
Oh
Right?
yeah, yeah, of course, of
Yeah, I'll
course.
definitely do that. So as we get ready to wrap things up, I want to give you a chance to kind of say your last little bit. Anything you want to talk about, anything you want to address, the floor is yours.
Um, I'm gonna try to talk about something because I'm gonna be mad that I didn't try to do it later once you get off.
And yeah, and 2 things. Make sure you mention your company again and how somebody can get a hold of you to use you for moving.
Oh yeah, so Nationwide Elite Movers. We are a St. Augustine company, St. Augustine owned company, but we do moves all over the world because of coronavirus. Supply and demand. A lot of moving companies are charging very high prices. And that's okay, but we offer affordable prices. And actually, chances are I'm going to be the person on your move. Um, we wrap all the furniture for a long distance moving. Um, we're just one of the best in the industry, and it's not even just being biased saying that. It's because, especially in this industry, small businesses will 9 times out of 10 be better than the big companies because they contract their workers, they contract the people, so they're not even their original employees. Small businesses like us, like Need a Truck, like just different other companies are small, locally owned. So chances
Mhm.
are, you know, it's only going to be about 5, 6 employees. So we're going to do really good jobs. And I think if more of the world realize that, um, you can get moved safely. You can get moved happily without having to. I hear so many stories about people saying that they was holding their stuff hostage. Like they were holding their furniture hostage until
Yeah.
they paid this upright. Like they'll say they quote $8,000, they'll bill them 12,000. Ho, then once they get to the place, they say, okay, you gotta give me my $12,000. And I heard so many horror stories from there. So you can call me at 321-424-4390, Nationwide Elite Movers. You can go to our website, nationwideelitemovers.com, or you can reach me by email, my first name, Damerit, Damerit, at nationwide elitemovers.com. That's my email. You can reach to me. And honestly, you don't even have to book with me. I will want you to choose what's best. Because in some instances, pods are cheaper, U-Pack are cheaper, but it depends on how fast you want. So it just depends on so much. And I would love to help you out. I'm not even going to try to sell you. I don't even try to sell people. I never do. They ask me for a quote. But that's why I'm here, of course. But I just want to come off as I really want to help you. Like seriously, because I know a lot of people is moving. And I remember even from moving from Anastasia Island to here, it's such a huge change. Like I think that's when I understood the movers from the customer standpoint. You're moving like your stuff. You're gonna have a whole new life. So either you're moving to a bigger house and you don't care, you're just happy, or in some cases people are downsizing. That's emotional.
Downsizing.
They've been
That's
in
tough,
homes for
dude.
20 years. Then they got to deal with a annoying mover too. So just save your time to choose us. But but yeah, so probably something I want to leave somebody with is uh probably for someone who probably wants to even start being an entrepreneur, or not even that, have a business idea, um and don't, and like just waiting to go to it and waiting to not go to it. But it's the same thing you did, because I remember we was in the office, you was talking about starting a podcast, you know,
Hmm.
like everything starts with a thought. I was reading a book, probably playing in my head a lot, like if you look down the road, 100% of that was start in the head. And it's crazy, a million stuff is starting in the head that's never done. I think if people just don't look at life from a reality standpoint, but what you want to put into the world, then I think you can come back like on top. Because whatever you do, if you believe it enough and you have that work ethic, you're gonna do it. It's me doing the movie company made me realize that I didn't have a car. I wrote down in my notebook, have a car. I bought a car like 2 weeks later. I look back, I'm like, yo, I wrote that. I was I was about to have a partnership with the Landis apartment. I wrote that in my book, in like my notebook. I was like, get a partnership with the Landis. The next day I got it, and I started to realize I was aiming too low. But it's like all the YouTube videos, all that other stuff is true. It's so true. If you just write down your days, and it's still stuff that I struggle with today. But I think the biggest difference is just having that fire. So whatever you decide, whatever burning in your heart, burning in your soul, is meant for yours to have. You just have to go out there and do it. That's the only way. Like you're gonna mess up along the way, wherever the case may be. But I feel like you'll be a lot happier taking a risk doing something that you felt like it was right. Because you only got one life. Why would you live it so careful? And you know, I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
people got this vision of who they want to be, like this. Like that's one of my biggest fears. Like, will I ever be him? Like, which is him is that person that I vision, the person that wakes up every day at 6 a.m., the person that eats good every day, the person like, will you ever be him? Um, and just keep chasing it. Just keep chasing that. Keep chasing being the better version of yourself, and watch the world manifest. The people around you, And it's crazy. I book more moves the more mental I be, not what I do physically. If I'm really mentally locked in, I woke up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., drop my coffee, got a workout in. It's crazy. I've seen the correlation. It seems as if my business goes a lot better from when I'm just going through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that all that proves is that whatever you decide to do, if you believe it with your whole heart, it's pretty easy. Honestly, not a lot of people decide to do entrepreneur mindset. It's only easy, depending on how far you're trying to go. But I feel like if you just take that risk, man, and you really believe in it, you'll know in your heart if it's something that you should do. I feel like so. I just feel like you should take that risk and do the research and really lock in and spend hours. Because I'm gonna be spending hours, and if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you're basically working against me because there's only one type of money, and people spending it different ways. So
Yeah, that is
it's a
true.
competition. It's a competition as well. So which plays in part into being an athlete and being better, but not doing it for the money though. Doing it for the want to just help. But we're all in a competition, and I feel like if you have that mindset, okay, somebody else is working harder than you in your field with the moving industry. So I'm gonna make sure because I know for a fact people are not watching the numbers every day. I know for a fact people aren't really understanding marketing. Like I see so many marketing videos and it's like this old camera quality, people not even wearing the same uniform. It's like you really got to understand why you're doing something. But if you have a desire and you want to do it, I promise you would naturally find the answers because you would start to understand you don't know that much. Then you was like, okay, if I want to know something, I go to the bookstore. Once you go to the bookstore, you start knowing more and you start to grow hungrier to know more. But it all starts from the will to want to do something. So I just go do it. It's 10:13 p.m. and I feel like if you decide that you want to do something, today is probably the best day to do it. It's no other better day.
I tell you what, that's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that, Dink. Before I go into talking about next week's show, there's a little bit I have here, and it's tied into Ben and Jerry's, and it talks a little about knowing your rights. And this ties to the Colin Kaepernick, and whether you agree with Colin Kaepernick or not and what he did, what he's done with Ben and Jerry's and coming up with your 10 rights. I thought this was brilliant. And it says everybody has the right to be free. Everybody has the right to be healthy, the right to be brilliant, and the right to be safe, the right to be loved, right to be courageous, right to be alive, right to be trusted, right to be educated. But most importantly, people have the right to know their rights. Social justice is such a big thing with Ben and Jerry's. And I just loved this 10 points on knowing your rights. And I just wanted to make sure I got that out. Hopefully somebody could find something in that and be able to move it forward. And like Dink said, it's 10:14. What better time to go for it than today at this time? So moving on into the last little piece. Next week, I'm really excited about who we have. Oops, sorry about that. We actually have, let me go ahead and we have a great guest next week. And I put up the little tag. His name is Dr. Williams. He is an associate professor at the University of Tennessee. Amazing guy. He wrote a book, and it's Check Your Life, Be Limitless. He also has a great book called How to Have Abs and Still Eat Like a Fat Boy, right? So it's an amazing individual. He's going to be on the show next week. He's got a great podcast as well. So hopefully all of you get a chance to tune in next week and check him out. Once again, I am just going to throw up who the individual is. And so hopefully you'll get a chance to tune in. Again, Damerit, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate you. And I hope everybody has a great night. And I hope you tune in next week to get a chance to listen to Dr. James Williams. Good night, everybody.